The NBA rumor mill is working overtime, and this time it's got Luka Dončić and Bronny James at the center of a controversy that's lighting up every group chat, every sports debate shows in America.
On the drive, Luka finds a wide-open Bronny, but he passes up the shot, and you can see Luka kind of just throwing up his hands. A few minutes later, Luka finds Bronny again, but he doesn't shoot again. Luka then throws up his hands and looks at JJ, and JJ tells Bronny,
So what's really going on here? Is tension quietly building in the league's most famous basketball family, or is this being blown out of proportion?
At the end of the game, when Bronny James was shooting his free throws, Luka Dončić and the guys were cracking up on the bench. And I don't know exactly what it was about, if it was about Bronny or something else.
Of course, no KD, he's moved on now to...
Just his patience and just being able to be unpredictable. I think that's the thing that I've watched most about him. He's like, you never know what he's going to do.
Mavericks go up 2-0, and Doncic with the game.
Let's cut through the noise and break down what actually happened. Lakers versus Mavericks. The arena is buzzing with that cross-conference intensity. And sitting on the Dallas bench, injured but locked in, is Luka Dončić, watching, observing, taking it all in like he's studying film for his next masterclass. The game's winding down and Bronny James steps to the free throw line. Standard routine, nothing unusual, and that's when the cameras catch it.
At the end of the game, when Bronny James was shooting his free throws, Luka Dončić and the guys were cracking up on the bench. And I don't know exactly what it was about, if it was about Bronny or something else.
Of course, no KD, he's moved on now to...
Luka and his teammates on the bench, they're laughing hard, cracking up like someone just dropped the joke of the century, absolutely losing it. The kind of laughter that makes you stop and ask, what in the world just happened? But here's where it gets even more interesting. After the game ends, cameras catch another moment that sent the internet into absolute chaos.
Of course, no KD, he's moved on now to...
And after the game, Luka saw Bronny coming towards him and he instantly walked away.
Bronny's walking toward Luka, maybe to say what's up, exchange some post-game respect, maybe just crossing paths in the usual post-game chaos. And what does Luka do? He walks away. Just turns and heads in the opposite direction like Bronny's invisible. No handshake, no acknowledgement, just a cold shoulder that could freeze the entire Staples Center. Now, the internet being the internet, immediately jumped to conclusions. Luka's got no respect for Bronny. There's beef. The Slovenian sensation just curved LeBron's kid on national television. The takes were flying. The narratives were building. The clicks were rolling in. But here's the thing, and this is where context becomes everything. It was apparently a joke, the whole thing, a playful moment between competitors that got completely blown out of proportion because we live in an era where every glance, every gesture, every micro-expression gets dissected like it's evidence in a murder trial.
Of course, no KD, he's moved on now to...
And after the game, Luka saw Bronny coming towards him and he instantly walked away. Of course, it was a joke, no worries about that, he didn't want to get traded.
Luka being Luka, playful, mischievous. The guy who talks trash in 3 languages and laughs about it 30 seconds later. Nothing malicious, nothing personal, just competitive banter that looks way worse when you strip away all the context and freeze it in a 15-second clip.
Games to none, and Doncic with...
But let's pump the brakes for a second, because while that moment might have been lighthearted, there's actually more footage that suggests there might be something brewing beneath the surface. And it's not about laughter or post-game avoidance, it's about basketball. Pure, unfiltered, can't laugh this one away, basketball. Cut to another Lakers game. Different night, different opponent, different stakes. But the same Luka Dončić sitting courtside, rehabbing but watching his future team with the intensity of a scout writing a report. And this time he's not laughing. This time he's frustrated, visibly, undeniably. The play unfolds like this. Lakers pushing in transition, someone drives and kicks it out, and there's Bronny James, wide open, corner 3, not a defender within 5 feet, the kind of shot NBA players dream about, the kind of look that's supposed to be automatic at this level. The green light is flashing, the spacing is perfect, everything about this moment screams, shoot the ball. And what does Bronny do? He passes it up, doesn't even think about shooting, hesitates and swings it to someone else like the ball's radioactive. And you can see Luka's reaction in real time. Hands go up, Both of them, the universal basketball gesture for "what are you doing?" It's not subtle, it's not hidden. It's the visceral response of a competitor who lives and breathes winning basketball, watching someone fundamentally misunderstand their role.
On the drive, Luka finds a wide open Bronny, but he passes up the shot, and you can see Luka kind of just throwing up his hands.
But wait, it happens again, because a few possessions later, the basketball gods give Bronny another chance, another drive and kick, another wide open look from three, another opportunity to silence the doubters and prove he belongs at this level. And once again, like some cruel repeat of the same nightmare, he passes, refuses to shoot, defers when the moment demands aggression.
A few minutes later, Luka finds Bronny again, but he doesn't shoot again. Luka then throws up his hands and looks at JJ, and JJ tells Bronny,
"The start tonight. We've seen plenty of action."
This time, Luka doesn't just throw his hands up in frustration. He turns directly to JJ Redick on the sideline, the head coach, the guy responsible for developing this kid into an NBA player. And the silent conversation happening in that moment is absolutely loaded. No words needed. The message is crystal clear. Are you seeing this? Is someone going to address this? Because this kid needs to shoot the basketball. Now, here's where we need to separate emotion from reality. Does Luka hate Bronny? Almost certainly not. Does he have a problem with a player passing up wide open shots when the team desperately needs offense? Absolutely, 100%. And that's not personal. That's basketball IQ. That's a generational talent recognizing when someone's playing scared instead of playing to win. Because here's the brutal truth about Bronny James that everyone's thinking but nobody wants to say out loud. The pressure on this kid is absolutely insane, unprecedented, historic. We've never seen anything like it in NBA history. Michael Jordan's kids didn't play in the league. Magic Johnson's son didn't suit up. Even Del Curry's boys, as incredible as they became, weren't carrying the impossible weight of being the GOAT's offspring while playing on the same team as their legendary father.
And this whole deal where from Shedeur Sanders to Arch Manning, these second-generation kids seem to be disasters that are being forced upon us.
Bronny's not just battling opposing players. He's battling expectations. He's battling the millions of people on social media who think he only got drafted because of his last name. He's battling scouts who openly questioned whether he was even NBA ready. He's battling the pressure of living up to a legacy that nobody could possibly live up to. And most importantly, he's battling his own confidence. So when Luka throws his hands up, he's not saying, "I hate this kid." He's not trying to embarrass him or tear him down. He's saying, "Be confident. You're in the NBA. You earned this. Now shoot the damn ball." And honestly, that's probably the best thing someone could communicate to Bronny right now. Not coddling, not protecting him from criticism or reality, but real, authentic feedback from one of the game's absolute best players. The kind of tough love that every young player needs if they want to survive in this league, where the margin between rotation player and out of the league is razor thin. Think about Luka's background for a second. This guy grew up in Real Madrid's youth system, one of the most cutthroat, demanding, unforgiving basketball environments on planet Earth. He was playing against grown men in the EuroLeague when most American kids his age were still figuring out how to ask someone to prom. He learned early that the game doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't care about your famous last name. It doesn't care about your potential or your draft position. It only cares about one thing: production. And maybe that's the cultural clash we're witnessing here. Luka comes from a basketball culture where 18-year-olds are expected to perform like professionals because they are professionals. The American system, especially with high school phenoms who go straight to the league or play 1 year of college, sometimes creates players who aren't quite mentally ready for the psychological warfare of 82 games. But here's what gives me hope for Bronny. He's in the right organization. The Lakers might be struggling right now, might be figuring things out on the fly, but they know how to develop talent. JJ Redick, despite being a first-year head coach learning on the job, understands the modern game better than most. He knows what it takes to succeed as a role player, as a specialist, as someone who has to carve out their specific niche in this league. And most importantly, he's not afraid to push Bronny, to challenge him, to demand more when more is needed. That's not hate, that's recognition.
That's respect wrapped in frustration. Now, will we see more moments like this as the season progresses? Probably, because Luka's competitive fire doesn't turn off just because he's injured and sitting courtside. Because Bronny's journey is going to have growing pains and stumbles and moments that make us question everything. Because this league is hard, and learning how to play at this level, how to handle the pressure, how to become a professional, doesn't happen overnight or even over a season. But the narrative that there's some deep-seated animosity between these two, that Luka has it out for LeBron's son, that there's legitimate beef brewing that could explode into something bigger, that's clickbait. That's algorithm-feeding content specifically designed to generate outrage and engagement in comments and shares. So, does Luka hate Bronny? Absolutely not. Does he wish Bronny would shoot more, play with more confidence, embrace the moment instead of shrinking from it? Yes. Does that make him a hater or just someone who fundamentally understands what winning basketball looks like? You already know the answer. The real question isn't whether Luka has beef with Bronny. The real question, the only question that actually matters, is whether Bronny can take these moments, these visible reactions, these unspoken expectations from veterans around the league and use them as fuel. Can he transform hesitation into aggression? Can he turn passed-up shots into confident makes? Can he prove that he belongs in this league not because his last name is James, but because his game speaks for itself? And if Luka's hand-throwing frustration is part of that journey, if those moments of visible disappointment from one of the game's absolute best players serve as wake-up calls, then maybe, just maybe, it's exactly what Bronny needs to become the player everyone hopes he can be.